Are you traveling to Mexico anytime soon? Then it's a good chance that you'll be traveling into or through one of these impacted airports that we'll be talking about in this video: Cancun, Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta, Santa Lucia, San Luis del Cabo. So you may want to take particular note. Hey friend, my name is Lee, and here on this channel we talk about all things Mexico. So whether you're just visiting, passing through, or establishing roots, join the journey and let's get mixed in Mexico. As you may notice, I'm in a park for a change of scenery. This video is an update to a previous video we made about the entry and exit requirements for Mexico. Let me tell you, it's a good thing we're updating it because the audio was terrible. Terrible. In that video, we talked about the required FMM form that is needed by all foreigners traveling into and out of Mexico. While that form is still being used by a vast majority of Mexican airports, there are at least 5 airports to date that have recently eliminated the use of this form on a trial basis through a pilot program being implemented here in Mexico. Those 5 airports are Cancun, Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta, Santa Lucia, and San Luis del Cabo. There's been a lot of talk about these changes online, but I wanted to wait until I personally experienced the change by exiting and re-entering the country before I spoke on the matter. What's this pilot program all about? Glad you asked. Whether you're entering or exiting Mexico at a participating pilot program airport, the FMM form has been almost completely obsolete. Well, if you don't need the FMM form, Leah, what do you need? Well, yourself for starters, your passport, and depending on the customs official you get, maybe your accommodations confirmation or the reason for your stay. All you do once you reach the customs counter in Mexico at the airport is hand the customs official your documentation and our paperwork, and then they will proceed to stamp your passport, place an estilo or a stamp into your passport, and write a number on that stamp. That number will be your allotted amount of days in the country. And I can't overemphasize this enough. Do not overstay your granted days. It can be up to a maximum of 180 days, but it could be less, so take a note of that number. Why the change? Rumor has it that it's implemented to catch those perpetual tourists or infamous 180-day border crossers. Is that true? I don't know. But what I do know is that these past 2 years, and particularly during the pandemic, Mexico was one of the #1 travel destinations for tourism, particularly through the Cancun airport. And this pilot program places an emphasis on expediting the immigration process and the long lines at the airport so that you can spend less time in line and more time spending money in Mexico. Win-win, right? Are there any exceptions? There's always exceptions to the rules. For instance, a lot of people are reporting being granted 180 days, but you may be the exception to that, so watch out for that number. Travelers and tourists arriving from Haiti, Honduras, El Salvador, Venezuela, and Brazil will for sure be the exception to that, since visitors from Brazil, for instance, only are granted 30-day visas. Another exception to consider are travelers arriving at participating airports, of course, under special circumstances, such as work visas, residency visas, or student visas. They will still need to fill out an FMM form, for now at least, whether printed or electronic. And I'll leave a link below for how to access the electronic FMM form. If you're already a resident and still have the top portion of your FMM form from the last time you exited Mexico, you will not need it to re-enter if you're entering Mexico via one of the participating pilot program airports. Keep it just in case though, but I can confirm that I didn't need it entering the Cancun airport. In fact, the lady at customs told me that it was basura, or trash. Also, keep in mind that if you have a connecting flight first at any Mexican airport not participating in the pilot program, then you will still need an FMM form. So now you know the who, what, when, where, and why, and even the exceptions to this change being implemented. See you in the next video. I like recording outside, but I wish they could see these animals.
He was hungry.